The majestic beaver swims in the river. Did you know that beaver was another word for... I wonder why that is.
And the fact you've had to join forces with a cartoon beaver who likes to dress up as a Canadian Mountie. What is going on with the globe side? It's insane.
I'm not sure what happened there, but we got the signal back. Anyways. Oh no, it's that guy, aka Mr. Smug and So Stupid. Unfortunately for that guy, his channel has not exploded yet. I'm not a number hater, but something makes me wonder why he isn't more popular with the Flat Earth community. I'd love to see a get-together between Red Pill Philosophy and that guy. One could twirl his mustache, talk about how high his IQ is, all while pondering the existence of a dick-shaped Earth. The other? Catching some gnarly waves, bruh.
Wipeout! Wipeout!
But anyways, I was catching me some Surf Boy vids and I came across something, well, hilarious. The world's skinniest bathroom tiler is wading into the wonderful world of vacuums. A topic that I'm currently neck deep in. Since I'm willing to bet the only vacuum this guy experiences is between his ears, let's take a peek at a few of the stupid claims Tile Boy here is making.
I'll talk slowly so the globetards can understand the situation. I asked Baldy Cats to debunk my experiment where I used a vacuum, a low pressure system, to lift water from the surface of Earth, right? I'm asking how the vacuum of space and the high pressure system of the atmosphere are existing side by side without a barrier. There's a low pressure vacuum and a high pressure atmosphere and no barrier between them.
Yeah, but that's not true. First of all, your kind keep telling us that we've never been there, so how the do you even know what you're talking about is right? So let's just establish that you're talking out your ass first, because you don't have any evidence of this. And to continue on with your point, or maybe I guess my point, I have said this repeatedly. You can observe the fact that we have a pressure gradient, hence the need for oxygen tanks when climbing Mount Everest.
Good, I'm closing the bleeder valve. So, to get to millibar, 20 millibar vapor pressure of water, that's all the way over on this side. The highest mountains in America, they would be up about here somewhere. That's, I don't know, 15, 14,000 feet, that sort of thing. Mount Everest, atmospheric pressure on Mount Everest is over here somewhere.
Oh, anybody who has not seen Thunderfoot's channel needs to go check it out. It's a real good channel. I digress. Why would it gradient slowly lower and lower and lower and not end at nothing? So there is at no point, in fact, a high pressure system and a low pressure system side by side. They kind of just coalesce together slowly and surely. You know, the same way that gutter meat coalesced to make you that guy?
I'm asking how the vacuum of space and the high pressure system of the atmosphere are existing side by side without a barrier. There's a low pressure vacuum and a high pressure atmosphere and no barrier between them. His rebuttal video, his answer to me, was to explain atmospheric pressure up to 0 psi. Completely ignoring the fact that space is a vacuum, right? He's completely, either he ignored it or he's that ignorant to where he doesn't even know space is a vacuum.
Yes, the stupid's getting primed. This is getting good. Okay, where do you guys think he's gonna go with this? What do you think he's gonna say? I mean, I won't lie. At this point, I'd already watched this. I know the future, so hedge your bets.
When you use atmospheric pressure, the 14.7 psi, that's the atmospheric pressure. That goes up to 0, which would be your Kármán line, okay? 0 pressure is not space. Atmospheric pressure has nothing to do with the vacuum of space and cannot be used to measure the vacuum of space.
I don't think you understand the model or atmospheric pressure. I mean,
So when you hear a globetard say, yeah, the atmosphere it's a gradient up to 0. 14.7 psi to 0. That's where they're confused. That's where their ignorance kicks in. 14.7 psi to 0 would be the top of your atmosphere, not the vacuum of space. That's where you need to switch to absolute pressure, where you change 0, the 0 point, which would be your Kármán line in atmospheric pressure, because it only deals with the atmosphere. After that, to measure a vacuum, you need to switch to absolute pressure, where absolute 0 is a perfect vacuum.
Jesus Christ! I warned you. I've done it again. I warned you, but did you listen to me? Oh, no, you knew it all, didn't you?
that is incorrect, sir. You know what? I haven't been formally approved for this, but this calls for something special.
You're a fucking idiot.
Baldy Cats is combining the two, or saying atmospheric pressure to 0, and then that 0 is now absolute 0. He's retarded, people.
All right, Tile Boy, listen here.
Ignorant.
Hey, are you gonna let me talk?
Fucking ignorant. Sorry, it is. Stupid. Either intellectually dishonest or stupidity.
Okay, breathe, okay. You know what? I have to step outside for some air. Just hold on a second. I'll be right back.
14.7 psi to 0 is just the atmosphere. Has nothing to do with the vacuum of space. That's why I've been saying for 5 days now that you've explained it to the Kármán line. Big deal. That's explained. Our atmosphere is explained. And that's why it needs to be contained. According to science.
What the hell is mercury with chalk?
Science!
And red flannel. Red flannel? There's shirt in here?
Pieces of shirt.
Okay, thank you very much.
So, Baldy, this is to you, brother. Stop being a coward-ass bitch and own up to your ignorance. Okay? Man to man, I'm not crazy. I'm a little triggered because of your fucking arrogance and your ignorance and your hubris and your Dunning-Kruger nonsense. You've been called out, bro.
Bruh, I'm calling you out, bruh. Come on, bruh. Anyways, I started cutting shit out because it's just a lot of nothing, but I'm going to allow him to get to his point so I can finally get to mine. I have a couple tools beside me and I'd like to teach him some things.
15.7 psi to 0 is atmospheric. Now switch to absolute pressure and tell me how it works. Explain the actual problem with your insane space ball.
Spaceballs?
So now everybody's clear. We've clarified the shit, right? 0 on that scale is not absolute 0. That's atmospheric pressure 0. And then there's gauge pressure, which is like filling your tire, 30 psi. Gauge is just 30 pounds higher than atmospheric pressure of 14.7. They just make 14.7 the 0 now. That's all they do in scaling. In gauge pressure, 0 would be 14.7 psi. In atmospheric pressure, 0 is 0 psi. In absolute pressure, 0 is a perfect vacuum, which can never be achieved. And vacuum scaling, the pressure of vacuum is not linear. Meaning 2 torr to 1 torr is nowhere near the same pressure difference as 1 torr to 0 torr.
So this is well, I'd like to say a common mistake, but how many common people are walking around just talking about air pressure? He has created 3 designations for PSI when there is really only one. PSI-A, some call absolute, some call it atmospheric. No matter, they are the same. You have PSI-A and PSI-G. He has seen it written differently and thus has had his eureka moment, probably ran through the house like a lunatic, waking his wife, shaking the kids out of bed. Come on, it's amazing, the earth, it's so flat. But, I mean, 1 torr is equal to 1/760th of a standard atmosphere pressure. So it's not some sort of negative pressure, it's just far, far, far less pressure than here on Earth. This is like what that guy thinks is happening with space. Like, everybody thinks it's some sort of negative pressure and that, well...
Suck! Suck! Suck!
Okay, so what we have here is a vacuum pump, a gauge set, broken high pressure gauge on whichever side it ends up being on that comes across in the camera. But you can see there's the low pressure gauge here, and I can't pull it, it's kind of attached to stuff right now, but you can see there's the 0 point there in the black. We're actually a little below it because I was playing around and there's a little bit of a vacuum still in there. But if you look, 0 psi, and then there's that red section on the bottom there. And that is the 30 inches of water column, which would be a perfect vacuum, unattainable. That is true. So we're just going to hang that there. Now what we have here is we have a micron gauge, okay? So we use this to check the vacuum of our systems when we're pulling, well, especially big systems, but any system down. And this one goes all the way from atmosphere, 760,000 microns, or millimeters of mercury, all the way down to 1 micron, which is well below a 1 torr vacuum. 760 torr at atmosphere, all the way down to, I think 1 torr is 101 pascals. But we will be able to pull below 101 pascals, which is about it's about 750 microns. We're going to get down to 600, and so fairly quickly after that it's going to slow down a lot. So we'll show you just, I don't know, how that guy doesn't know what the fuck he's talking about. When this thing hits totally 0, which is extremely impossible to do, but I've gotten it down below 50. If it hits 0, there's no molecules left in the system that are detaching, at least anyways. There could be some stuff stuck to walls and stuff, but it's essentially almost a pure vacuum, which is impossible, but we'll get close fairly quickly too. So watch this. Just going to flip the pump on, and we're just going to watch this thing. Open the valves here so it's ready to go. Now remember, at 750 microns, we're below 1 torr. That means we've gone all the way from 760 torr to 1 torr. Open the valve there. I still have a closed valve, and boom, we're below a torr. Holy shit, 14 minutes. All right, I'm Brainy Beaver. That guy's a f***ing idiot, and I'm out of here. Don't forget to smash the subscribe button, and we'll see you next week.